Okay, thank you for joining me. We're taking a look at the Project Restore grant from the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. And just going to go ahead real quick and open up my screen. And so this is a complicated application, but it's a really exciting program. DHCD is providing the Project Restore grant program, which is allowing new and existing businesses to potentially expand into a different vacant property or to create a new business in a vacant property. So this is benefiting both new and existing small businesses as well as property owners in the state of Maryland. So the first thing that we're going to take a look at is where you actually go to apply for this to make sure that this is going to be the right fit for you. So it's at onestopgov.maryland or onestop.maryland.gov. And if you haven't already registered here, you would want to go up. It'll either say login or register over here. If you don't have a login for this hub to begin with, you'll want to go ahead and register. So the easiest place to look at this, if you haven't already started an application, you're going to scroll down to where it says Browse by State Agencies. Go to Department of Housing and Community Development. There's one application available, and that is the Project Restore application. So you would then click on that, and it'll give you additional information, providing the details, telling you when it's open from, how long it's going to take to complete, estimated, depending on what materials you have ready to go. This also provides the information that there are two grant options. The rental assistance grant, which is up to $30,000 for 1 year for qualified small businesses, or essentially up to $2,500 per month in rental assistance. Of course, the rental assistance that you're awarded is only going to be based on what the rent is in the property that you're looking at. So it's not an automatic $2,500 per month. If your rent is only $800 per month, then that's what you would be applying for, be that total amount. The business operations grant is up to $250,000 per year for 1 or 2 years for qualified businesses. And this depends also on how long the funds remain available. So you can apply for up to 2 years. If the funds for this program run out prior to that, then you may not get all of those funds in that time. This is based on sales and use tax. So the business, only businesses that are going to generate sales and use tax are qualified to apply for this portion of the grant. And the funds will only be paid out once you have paid sales and use tax per quarter in the vacant property that you're now renting or have expanded into. So it's a little bit more complicated. There's no actual direct financial assistance from this program. The rental assistance is paid directly to the landlord in 6-month intervals. And the business operations grant, again, is only paid after you have started generating sales and use tax in the property that you're applying with. And you must show proof of payment to the state for your sales and use tax before requesting those funds back. So it essentially works as a rebate. And if there's any questions, feel free to email us at FrostburgFirst@gmail.com. Call us at 301-689-6900 about that. So moving forward to actually applying, in this case, you would hit the Apply Now button. I've already gotten an application started just so that we can take a look at it. So it's the Project Restore application. Make sure before you apply for this that you qualify for this particular program. You must be a registered LLC with the state of Maryland, and you must also be working with a landlord who is a registered LLC with the state of Maryland in good standing. And the best way to figure out if you're in good standing or not, and let me just go ahead and share my screen again. And that's going to be at maryland.gov, Business Express Entity Search. And this is where you would type in the name of your organization. Mine is Historic Frostburg, so that's what I'm looking up. So you can use your ID or your business name. See if you find yourself here and click on that. And this is what you would take a screenshot of. So in this case, my business is in good standing. I can take a screenshot of this, and this is what I would upload onto the application. The same goes for the landlord. They also have to have good standing with the state. And so that's something that you'll have to include in the landlord portion of the application. So if that is not the case, you need to take care of that before you make the application complete and submit it. So this is where you would upload your good standing status, and that has to be since September 1st, 2021. You can't use an older status. You do not have to purchase the full certificate at this time, but it's likely you will have to purchase that if the award or if the grant is awarded. Typically, those are around $20. Use your trade name if you have a different name, or just go ahead and use your LLC name. Your federal ID, what's on your W-9, you're going to be submitting that as well. And that's where you're going to submit your IRS W-9 information. There'll be additional contact information, mailing address, things like that to include. You do need to include an official mission statement and or business purpose. So if you have an existing business, just use what you're working with already. This is something that you would have to develop as a new business anyway, and will be included in your business plan. So you're going to just put that. It's only 500 characters, so it's going to be very short. So in this case, if you're applying as an existing business or a new business, you're going to indicate which one it is. And then if you're a new business, you're going to upload your business plan and pro forma. A business plan does not have to be overly detailed. A 1 to 2 pager is fine here. And basically, you're just going to want to include the mission and purpose of your business, some strategic goals for the first year. Again, this application itself is good for essentially a year. So that's what you're going to be putting in. And a pro forma is also going to include your expected expenses, revenue. You want to have a timeline of how things are going to play out with your business when you're hoping to accomplish certain goals by. So that should all be one document, and you're going to upload that there. If you have difficulty putting together a business plan, I suggest you visit liveplan.com. You do have to pay, but there's a $10 first month fee that you can do there, and it's very easy. You can most of the time put a business plan together in under half an hour. And then again, you'll be putting some specific information in here about the description of your business and some information about your most recent financial statement, or where you plan to get the funds in the future. If you're an existing business, this changes a little bit. You're going to upload your 2019 profit and loss statements, which is what's pretty much going to be the basis for your sales and use tax projections, and then also your 2020 profit and loss statements. You'll upload both of those there. And then you'll also be including the same information about the description of business and financial capability. Moving downward, you're going to then provide information about the vacant property. So again, in order to qualify for this grant, you do have to be renting a property or expanding into a property that has been vacant for 6 months or more and has not generated sales and use tax in that time. So that is required if you're only looking to expand in a space that you're already in, or make changes or renovations or something along those lines. You're not going to qualify for this. And if you're in one of these tier 1 categories, you do have a higher priority. So those applications will be funded before the tier 2 ones as well. So just indicate where you're from, information on the vacant property. If you are applying for a location in downtown Frostburg, that is going to be in a designated opportunity zone, and it is also a Main Street Maryland community. You're going to upload a picture of the exterior front of the vacant property. And you can either go get that physically, or obviously use something that the landlord has as well, or look it up online. And then you want to indicate what the vacant property is going to be, whether it's retail space, office space. Again, remember that the space does need to generate sales and use tax. You do need to provide a fully executed letter of intent or a fully executed lease agreement dated after July 1st, 2021. We do have a template for a letter of intent. It's just 2 pages, very simple, just saying, indicating that you're planning to lease this space if a grant is awarded. If you would like access to that, please give us a call or send us an email at frostburgfirst@gmail.com. You can also, you want to download the landlord agreement. This is available on the DHCD Project Restore website. And this is an agreement that needs to be between the landlord and you as the applicant. And again, remember, the applicant cannot also be the landlord. So if you own the property that you're looking to expand into, even if it qualifies as a vacant property, you would need to have a separate LLC as a landlord or as a business because they cannot be one and the same. And so you would file, upload your letter of intent or lease agreement here. And then this is where you would have the additional information about the landlord. If you are in fact the same person, so if you are the landlord, but you have, say, a separate LLC for your real estate holdings and then a separate LLC for the a business itself, that is absolutely fine. There's no problem with that, but you do have to have separate LLCs for that. And this is where you would upload that the W-9 for the landlord's LLC, and also a certification like the one that you found here at maryland.gov on the entity search. Additional information about the landlord, and then also uploading that landlord agreement provided by the DHCD. Here's where you're going to get into the actual grant request itself, and it provides additional details on what the rental assistance is and what the business operations grant is. Again, if you have any questions about that, feel free to contact us and we can go into more detail. This is where you're going to indicate which funding you're requesting. If you're just doing one or the other, or if you're doing both, it will change a little bit differently. If you're doing the rental assistance grant only, then there's a little bit more limited information that you're having to put in there. Business operations does require your estimated amount that you're looking at here. And again, you're going to base that on sales and use tax, and it will be based on actual. So that's what you'll be paid based on. So if you overestimate what you're going to make in sales and use tax, you will only be refunded the amount that you paid to the state. And the same thing, sort of, if you're underestimating, you'll be paid what your actual payment was. So that's something to keep in mind there. So then once you're complete, you want to hit submit, but you do not want to hit submit until everything has been uploaded. If you are submitting before you have uploaded any of the materials, or the materials are not what needs to be there, what will happen is that the DHCD will contact you and let you know if there's a problem with the application, but you will lose your place essentially in the line and be bumped to the back whenever you are able to get that updated. The way that the application is going to be reviewed by the DHCD, they are going to review the applications in the order in which they were submitted. So it's not first come, first serve necessarily, but if the applications are approved, it will be in the order in which they're submitted until the funds are all committed. So the deadline for this is October 8th. It is likely, however, that deadline is going to move forward simply because of the number of applications that are coming in. Okay, and so I'm going to stop recording here and go ahead and ask if anybody has any questions. Again, if you have any questions, please email us at frostburgfirst@gmail.com or call 301-689-6900. I'm happy to help with any part of the application. Please reach out if you need us. Thank you.